December 23rd? Woo! Wow. Where did the week go and where did the music go? Yeah, right there. Aha. Just kidding. Yeah, just kidding. You know me. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Just kidding. Where you going? Dana thought you were going to the show, not away. Ah! It's headline day and it's a frantic pace as usual because, hey, that's how we roll. And this is how they roll. We're going to get to that right quick. Yoink. Good morning, everybody. How are we today? How are we any day, Dina? Oh, God. Trying, hanging on, running out of fingernails, scratching the paint off the walls. We're here to try to help you deal with it. Join the rest of the planet as they wake up, freak out, don't feel bad. It'll be normal soon. You can be sure we're driving down a road at 1,000 miles an hour. There's a big cliff and a big wall. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? The wall, the cliff, the wall, the cliff. Ah! What's on the radio? Okay, Dana. Come on, Dana. Get with the program. Dana! Okay, let's change the pace. Let's whine and stop being Dana for 30 minutes. Yeah, I said 30. Take me to court. I better not say that. They'll be out there. How do we get into court for saying 30? We can use it against them. 4:30. U.S. generators. Think about this story. December 22nd, like yesterday story. And demolition companies are out there with bragging rights that they're in the loop. They're the go-to guys for stocks right now. And so it's an interesting story. Let's bang into it. Good morning to everybody. Cheap natural gas from shale has put a mountain-sized dent in the coal power. Now, the reason I read that sentence and the reason they put it there, excuse me, they're both one and the same. I'm getting organized. I'll get there. Tick-tocking. More than 430 power plants, 160 of them coal burners. And so the whole article, for some reason, ignores the rest of the power plants. The other 280, 270 for some reason, but they focus in on coal, and it's evident if you pick around for a while. 160 of them coal burners, yeah, big whoop, and it's like $15 to $25 a ton for the coal, right? And about $35 million for a big plant. That's a pretty big one, by the way, but it's okay. 5 U.S. nuclear stations shut. Third paragraph down. Top paragraph now. Radioactivity makes decommissioning of nuclear power plants more expensive. 1.8 billion versus 35 million. This is a small difference, I know, but... And then they got to store it forever and ever that you don't see. It's not in that $1.18 billion, what they're going to do with it. Whereas with the coal, that's $25 a ton when they sell it. But this stuff got to go to a special site and be stored forever and ever and ever. It don't matter to the demolition company. No, their stocks are still going to be fine because that's, you pay for the storage. The discharge are often hazardous materials, blah, blah, blah. Big Rock Point nuclear power plant, everything went to a radioactive disposal site, and it stays there till the end of time. You have to pay for that till the end of the time. But the coal plant's no biggie. It'll keep burning. So $15, scrap was $75 a ton, 2000. went up to 525 a ton, and today, 225 a ton. Pretty wide 15-year ride, yeah? I'll say. So for when they're biddings, right? Although federal rules allow the empty reactors to sit half a century. Now, the coal plant, they tore it down and sold it for tonnage-wise, right? But first, with a nuclear power plant, so that should be your first, like, gee, what's going on there, I wonder? And then you send in contractors, which are your loved ones, who don't know what the frig is going on. But, honey, we just got a contract at a nuclear power plant. We're going to be rich. It's a good thing you bought all those toys because you can liquidate them later for the cancer cures that never cure. They're connected to the nuclear industry. They know who you are. When you went to work, you were put in a special list. And the Reva's really good at hiring homeless and contractors and everybody else. Japan decides to scrap the Manju fast breeder. This is a really interesting story. The cost in the second paragraph, 1 trillion yen, 9 billion, but only operated 250 days in 22 years. Dream reactor. And so that's an important one because what that is talking about is what they were doing there is a better way to look at it. They were taking the fuel, instead of storing it like they're supposed to, they're reclaiming the hot particles and reburning it and releasing it into your environment as something different. Like when you burn this stuff in a chain reaction, it's 2 million times worse again. And so like MOX is the example, basically what we're talking about, the mixed oxide, where they reclaim uranium, plutonium, and other hot particles. It's such a big part of this because they're supposed to be storing it, not making it worse, and then releasing it into your communities. I better keep going because we won't get through it. But we can, there's a big road there we should be booting down. We won't because it's headline day, not skit day, because the green screen's lights are still not here. They're going to show up today, I hope. If not, it won't be till after. Well, it's Christmas. I guess it's not a big deal, I suppose. But I should have paid the extra $50 and had it within a couple of days. But that is the problem with being an activist. You can't really always do stuff like that. You know, with at least 4.6 more billion, 8 more years of work, just to get it to work again, they're going to scrap it. So like a coal plant, you just go and fix it. You fix it. That's what you do. You fix it. There's a coal plant. Yeah, the coal plant's broke. Okay, go fix it. Okay. You got to bring in emergency, give everybody potassium iodine all around the country. If a coal plant or an oil plant. But anyway, back to that coal story we started off with. It's interesting how they ignored all the other plants and focused in, because coal to them is the machine they use to beat the daylights of everybody who opposes. Oh, coal kills all kinds of people. Like anything they can do to blame on coal is what they have done now since nuclear existed. Nuclear can't exist without attacking, real energy. Like any other energy is good. Anything but coal. Anything about nuclear. Coal's fine because your body's acclimated to coal through genetic superior selection. Coal's fine because all the bacteria and insects and bio and flora and fauna is acclimated to the byproducts of coal. Coal has caught fire from lightning strikes for millenniums. The whole planet is used to it as part of the ecosystem. The system knows how to deal with it. It gets rained out and assimilated into soil as minerals. But Nuclear goes and lands in the same spot and irradiates and destroys everything. But this stuff has nothing to do with nature. We'll get to that coming up. With the Hiroshima syndrome freak show. Let me just adjust the audio on that. I'll try that one. That's probably not going to work much better. Another one. Hang on. I might get away with that for a while. I'll turn it down a bit, but here we go. Like, this is important because it shows you what Japan is really up to. How it's just sucking money out of everybody over 22 years for 250 days, attempting to create directed energy weapons. Isotopes is more like it. But it's a way of getting, for them to get rid of waste instead of storing it. And we're supposed to store it. We're not supposed to get rid of it. Because the only way to get rid of it is to release it into the environment. And a lot of these isotopes, they're parent daughters or gas, like plutonium. They have to keep them in certain containers, but these containers, you have to vent it. And it's not like you can suck up. So, like, you know, some people might say you can put a tent over it and then suck up all the isotopes and pressurize it and store it. But you actually can't, because when you pressurize so many of these noble gases, volatile gases, you enhance that part of it and become much more volatile. And so venting, they just need oxygen for like hydrogen. That kind of hydrogen coming out of a nuclear power plant is different than the hydrogen that we use to try to power automobiles. But we can't store hydrogen because it permeates through, like a dive tank, it would permeate out of it. It's such a small atom, right? H3. It was estimated, anyway, let's keep going. Hit the headlines. I forgot what we were doing. Officials, however, said Japan's spent fuel recycling plan would not change even without Manchu. And so opponents say Japan should give up the program and shift to direct burial of spent fuel as waste. Direct burial. That's probably the most important part of the whole story. That's what this was all about. Setting a stage to make that somehow acceptable. They're out of control. They're dumping it in the ocean. They're dumping it into the fucking lakes that people drink out of. These are monsters. This is out of control. These people have wrecked their own fucking country in 6 fucking years. Sorry, I'm kind of flipped out there. You should too. How can you not have a response to such a hideous crime? This is a crime against humanity and all the other species on the planet at the one time. This is out of control, what they're doing in Japan. Out of control. What? Gonna have the Olympics there? Bring in all the rich people's children. Give them the dose of the world so they don't feel bad. You've done it to yourselves. You got to start up a special prosecution and prosecute all the ones that put you in that position. My God. President-elect Donald Trump had tweeted out, what's going on here? Hang on. Let me zoom back. Yeah, there's the headline right alongside of me. Must strengthen something. President tweeted Thursday most greatly strengthen and expand its nuclear capabilities without offering immediate context. Yeah, but I mean, you know, you got $1 trillion monster on your back now that you're the president. They're overinflating it. Everything, I mean, they went after him all over the place for just tweeting anything about this out. And he started like, Will you use little nukes in the war against ISIL? 10,000. So wait now, 10,000 Hamas. You got 5 million Palestinian refugees, but you can control that, but you can't control the 10,000 Hamas. 10,000 Boko Haram Islamic extremists, allegedly. You can't control them, but you control the millions and millions of refugees that they can manage to create. Once again, 10,000 people, that's all you need. 10,000 Taliban, you wrecked Iraq and Afghanistan. Millions dead, millions missing, millions in refugee camps, millions unaccounted for. 5 million orphans just in Afghanistan, 5.5 million rounds a month they fired in Afghanistan and Iraq for 9 fucking years. They raped 29,000 of their own in the military in that same period each year. Animals. How much do you think they raped in the countries they were occupying, where they had access to around 28 million women? Where they ran them off the roads with their Humvees and raped them on the side of the road and shot them over and over and over throughout the whole country, trying to create resistance. This is what the war machine does. 22 veterans committing suicide every day. Do you think that's going to change? And you're spending 53 cents on every tax dollar on it? And then Nuke sucks up about 25 cents on every tax dollar. $1 trillion a year for 100 nuke plants to keep them afloat. Not to mention the waste sites and all the 50,000 missile silos that they still haven't cleaned up. The tritium had to be replaced in that every 11 years. You had to start the process. Greenland melt, Japanese. I'm yelling now. Hard. Let me turn down the music. Greenland melt and the Japanese meltdown conspiracy. Why would they put those two stories together? Is an interesting one. And how do I make that smaller without jumping? Let's jump. Should be. Okay. Dana. Anyway, I was trying to make it smaller so we can read the words, but there's you find a link below. Just check that just in case. It might not be streaming or something. It's Roger saying nothing turned up. I'll send him back a K. He'll check online here now. But the old marriage to Japanese government media industry is united to cover it up. And they do have, they start about 30 minutes in. But now all the ice glaciers are gone here in British Columbia. Right? I went out and documented that up at the nuclearproctologist.org. You'll find the documentation of the entire coastline. And if you look, you'll see the mountains are all naked. The glacier's gone, right? And that controlled the estuaries, lakes, the rivers, the streams, and all those insects and larvae, and that whole ecosystem depended upon that cold water regulating that in the summer times and being there all year, besides the fact, and regulating the temperatures of the coastline, because it all runs down to the coastline, right? It's Rocky Mountain right along the whole, quite a few miles inland, but all that runs to the Pacific on the west side of it. Keep going. Okay, next on that would be that he talks about a story about the Fukushima fix. Now he's the guy he's interviewing. It's okay, but when you look at this Chernobyl after 30 years, I don't know, hang on. Should have had it highlighted there. Okay, yeah, top paragraph. Still, immediate direct exposure of radiation over population centers at Chernobyl was significantly more than Fukushima, of which 80% drifted out into the Pacific, which is a total outrageous misrepresentation of any facts. It's factless. That was September the 15th. That was a counterpunch, I guess, if I remember correctly. But there is a lot of good stuff down further in the article. Chris Harris, a former senior nuclear reactor operator for 3 decades, currently nuclear consultant, claims Fukushima is an extinctional level event. This is the first time I heard this one. Containment is a myth, and there isn't any. Coal shutdown is a myth. Cooling is a myth because there's no way to measure cooling when nobody knows where the fuel is. And waste processing is a myth. Cleanup is a myth because of waste generation facility that won't stop. The reactors are. They don't stop. And then the mountain streams, rivers, and everything's reliberated and contaminated again. Two sailors, 100 U.S. sailors, Ronald Reagan, all of them, like their watches all stopped at the same time, okay? That was like freaking overload. In fact, at the top paragraph, for radiation victims, radiation is a silent destroyer that slowly progresses over time. In fact, it takes 5 to 40 years for the incubation process to manifest, be diagnosed. There's 1,800 autoimmune deficiencies, illnesses, Alzheimer's, dementia, autism, heart, liver, lung, respiratory, pituitary, adrenaline gland problems. 1,800 problems will manifest before the cancer. Will probably kill you, a lot of them, for sure. It attacks the heart. We see the rise in heart attacks right away. The more you eat, the quicker, and the more we're going to see it. Plutonium killed the animals in about 5 years. But that was just one inhalation, one exposure, one mono dispersal. It wasn't eating it and drinking it, washing your clothes in it, cooking their food in it. Okay? All right? I'm only telling you 500 more times. You don't even have to pay attention. You're going to pick this shit up because that's how I roll. Keep rolling. Tiny atomic reactors have energized the nuclear industry. What the fuck are you talking about, bitch? I mean, even nuclear power car. What? Nuclear, what? Have you lost your freaking mind? Fridges and freezers. What? I'll fridge you. I get me fucking hands on you. I'll put you in a fucking freezer. In the heady days. At the dawn of civilian. There's still no civilian. There's been $1 billion security on each. If you got a gram somewhere, you got $1 billion security surrounding it. Everybody's smoking fucking cigars. They're walking around laughing. People are stupid. They give us all this shit. Fucking RVs and 4x4s. And we gotta go out and find somebody with a camera and call him a terrorist now. We get another $1 billion. What? Really? I know this prick. I'm going to give him a camera and tell him to come down and take some pictures. You arrest him. Then enclose the nuclear battery. This Time magazine, so it doesn't really matter. They've been bought and sold like a fucking slave that many times. No offense to that word or people that understand what that fucking means. Slavery is still real. It's still going on. That's what I usually watch every friggin' day, is what's going on in the world, in the most impoverished places, and how are people managing to get the fuck out of the way and survive long enough to pull that off. There's just utter destruction going on worldwide, utter contempt for humanity, and every species on this planet is not sustainable. It's not tenable anymore. We passed that tipping point 6 years ago. Immediately, we seen the extinction event start to play out on the coastline. Move on. Change the song. 6,000 to the Fukushima plant. No, here, damn it. Fucking plant. Okay. That word is important. I want you to think about that word. Every fucking time you hear that word, 6,000 people or 7. Usually they say 7,000. Empty seats. And so let's assume a lot of people got transportation and they're bringing their vehicles in there, because that doesn't happen. You got to come in there on bus. Okay, thanks for getting that out of the way. Despite the pre-dawn hours, few people are sleeping on a bus. Now, see, that was an interesting way to fire off this story when you think about it. Some passengers are planning for the work ahead. One is looking forward to chatting with his colleagues. They'll get to him. And a few wonder if today will be the day when they get their anal radiation doses. Safety limits. Everyday buses like this take 6,000 workers. All right. You'll find links below my video, all these stories. You can't put up with my shit. But that's important. Everyday bus is with an S. Take 6,000 workers out of the ballpark, and every day the same buses take the exhausted, etc., etc. Although the Fukushima plant is decades away, 407 daily bus rides. 407, we've done the math on that, of course. 29 people per bus for 200, right? That's 204 divided to 407 to get 204 for one way. Because that's what they're basically, right? 407 is bringing them to them, coming back, right? That's what that's all about. Assuming it's just a perpetual machine. It's all going to the plant, so it don't matter. Okay, I got that too. But let's just say, for Confucius' sake, that we're talking about 29 people per bus ride. 6,000, right? So 29, anyway. Now, the Fukushima number 1 plant and the number 2. The D.O.E. The number 2 is there somewhere. You'll find it. That's why this is so important. And the top paragraph, the bottom sentence. And nuclear plants include, okay, homeless, because we know there's 15 plants couldn't go in the cold shutdown. And although there are plenty of empty seats, the young workers sit in front, and the older workers, thousands of workers are staying at temporary dormitories. That's where they're keeping them from escaping back to civilization after the kidnapping the immigrants, the people who don't know what the fuck they're being walked into. Like other workers, their security guards got to be replaced when their annual radiation doses reaches a certain level set by some arbitrary prick in a suit that they'll never know his name and has no culpability. You breathe in a single particle, 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the road, you liquidate your assets, trying to stay alive. Don't tell me about it. Don't argue about it. Don't give me any nonsense bullshit and crap. There's difficulties making ends meet with a limited number of guards that have knowledge about radiation. What? Someone's going to be in there that you got to worry about it. Do you got any idea what we're talking about? Suddenly the man's cell phone rings and the caller orders the deployment additional security guards to the plant. What he was talking about is that the workers, the guards, don't know what they're doing. They're getting their doses right away. And they got to get somebody else, right? Even though they're not giving them dosimeters all the time or even some of the times. And they're just like, okay, he's been there for fucking like a week, man. You better get him out of there. He's going to die soon. We got to explain that one then. Let's go. Suddenly the man's cell phone rings. The caller orders the deployment of additional security guards to the plant. And some of the workers don't want to work. They want to go home. Better get security in. 52, that's exactly what's going on. They just watched their friends die there, and they're traumatized, and they want them to shut up because they're freaking out everybody else. 52-year-old TEPCO employee was on the way to the nearby number 2 power plant to provide a safety training program. for the illiterate immigrant and homeless, destitute workers, many of whom are victims of the nuclear industry. I want to convey to workers how precious their lives are. I bet you do. And the minute you let them on the site, you blew that out of the side of the world. What you should have done was just use robotics to do the whole site. You shouldn't have sent in a person to those dangerous areas. You could have used pneumatic robotic equipment. Japanese are not stupid. They're not naive. They're not gullible. They're fucking corrupt and demented and twisted and perverted. There's a big difference, you know that? Just saying like it is. On the trip back, everybody was fucked up. It's only a 30-minute ride, but everybody went to sleep, yeah? Because that's what radiation exhausts you. It displaces your oxygen molecules. The suits don't protect you from X-rays and gamma shine, neutron bursts. All right, okay, all right, yeah. Few people stay awake. I don't even switch on the radio. They must be tired after getting dosed like that, after getting fucked over like that, after getting a death sentence for trying to get a job, for not having a passport and being an immigrant or being destitute and disadvantaged and desperate, and then sucked into this machine, this heartless, soulless, spineless monster, which is the nuclear industry. Everything about nuclear is demented. You're literally fucking retarded if you don't know the difference and you're with the nuclear industry. You're literally the stupidest person out there. You're probably giving me 20 thumbs down every day. You're that type of person who hates everything. Vicious fucking thugs stalking you all the time so they can have their revenge each day. You gotta come and fuck him over each day. Yeah, baby. Because that's what they do in their real life. That's what they do to their children and their friends who they drive away or other things. Who have driven the shuttle bus. A few passengers who stayed awake remain quiet. Window seats, the back of the bus are desirable. No one gives a fuck. You just went in there and got a deadly dose and watched people fucked up who don't even know how to read or write get fucked up by people that are thugs. You fucking write shit like that and put it on the internet again. Because I'm fucking paying attention, you prick. This was about pretending. He's talking about a kid. He's normalizing an 18-year-old who won't go back to school and instead went to Fukushima. He's fucking glorifying it in the media to encourage other children to do the same fucking thing. That's what they do for a living. That's why he's got that job. Just like this creature right here. The nuclear isn't natural myth. Oh, the Hiroshima syndrome. Dr. Death. This cunt. This freak of nature. This anti-human prick. Cock. Excuse the language today, by the way. It's Christmas. What'd you expect? Some fucking teary-eyed nonsense? It's Christmas, man. You gotta... It's Christmas spirit. Dana's gotta be Dana once in a while. I earned it. Moo ha ha ha. A subtle but significant misconception, we're almost through it, is that solar energy is not nuclear. So it goes on into this weird diatribes where now they're going to talk, because the idea of them existing is to fuck over anybody who thinks nuclear is an issue. That's their mission statement at this Looney Tunes site. These people are degenerates, and they spawn and associate with degenerates. I'll bring you some of these degenerates here in a minute, hopefully. Or not. Wind energy is formed by uneven heating of our atmosphere by solar radiation. Going to link it to nuclear by the sun. Nuclear in the sun. Now, in total, there are no less than 29 natural radioactive occurring elements containing more than 40 radioactive isotopes, but we created thousands in the reactors. Everything in the reactor is man-made. These are all nature. These are not the same stuff that we create. The ones we create, we have to put in our dirty, can be used as dirty bombs, right? The ones we create, we have to lock away. And so, let me finish off this part. Naturally occurring plutonium. And plutonium is where, in a chain reaction, you take uranium-238, 400 train car loads of it, say, and you're dousing that with chemicals, you're getting it down, and you're putting all that in a pond and evaporating that into your communities, your environment. There's 15,000 of these abandoned mines just in Navajo. Just deadly sites. And children love caves and stuff, so children get wicked doses that don't know any better, that go near these freaking places. Tailing ponds, just abandoned, wicked chemicals. But 400 train car loads to get a gram of uranium-238, 235 at the end of it. And so plutonium decays to 235 24,000 years later, whatever. So what they're doing is they're trying to pretend that what happens in nature is somehow equal to the same stuff that's coming out of the chain reaction. And it's an unbelievable deception. Potassium-40, K40. Why would you even put that? The nuclear chain reaction in Fukushima meltdown doesn't produce potassium. It's just like, it produces cesium and iodine, 131. There's 10 times more 132, 30 times more 133, 31 times more iodine, 129. At an enormous numbers, 220 million becquerels of iodine, 129. You can do the mathematics for all the other numbers per liter of rainwater over British Columbia and America, just after Fukushima. Mother Nature is a nuke, right? Trying to enforce this fable. Now, this person is actually an academic. Is the Fukushima accident. They say how a kilometer-long piece of land, and this is fascinating, that somebody would say something like this, but to me it's fascinating. A kilometer-long cable. So we're going past our normal half an hour today because we got a couple of headlines left. We're just going to finish it out because that's what we do sometimes, right? I'm just going to show you a picture of the building they connected cable to. Hopefully. There you go. It's the connected cable. Pretty good. They crawled through all that, all this. Yeah. Okay, they got over all of that. That's what it looked like. It was hell everywhere you went. Yeah, and they hooked up power and saved the day. The power had to be hooked up 100 feet in the air, by the way. These buildings are 190 foot normally. Like, Dina, that's not 190 foot. That's all me down there crawling around. That's me just freaking around. That's me freaking around again. Well, that's what 100... that's a 130-foot building behind me, but the buildings, reactors were 190 foot. I was just like the wall of a homeless dead people, kind of. But I was waiting for the new green screen and the new lights to show up so I can do it better, so it's really better detail. I still got a long way to go. It might take me a couple of fucking decades to get where I need to be, but I'll get there. Something will happen at some point, I'm sure. That was my first attempt. And then I put people further up. And so then when you zoom in, everybody's supposed to be able to cancel each other out. See how they cancel each other out? That's pretty cool. Okay, what are you doing, Dana? Get back to the program. Get back to the program. We're almost through it. So anyway, they crawled for a kilometer-long cable to hook it up to that didn't exist. Hey, I'll find you a better picture. Maybe. Who knows with me. That's not it. One more try. There we go. I got a good one. Try this one more time. What the hell is that snappy shit today, Dan? It is what it is, dog. It's what it is. Yeah? But anyway, the building looks like the one behind me. I'm not zoomed in my way. Let's keep going. Let's finish it out. One more song. And I guess we're up to the end almost. Now for the clincher. Now for the big closer. Then I gotta have a closer there somewhere. Probably. Not saying I do or don't, but we're at the end, so I better say something. But this is where Hiroshima syndrome got a mental illness, and everybody that believes this nonsense. Still got a couple minutes to go. Roughly 125 children, nearly a third of a million children were tested. But actually, it was 3 in a million normally, and what they found was that out of 40,000 children, there was 13,646 that did. So they totally misrepresenting what they're talking about. It was feared that the Unit 4 spent fuel pool was boiling in danger of going dry. That's the third sentence from the top. This was due to the appearance of vapors coming from the pool and infrared images taken from satellites. Helicopters were used. Why would you take it from the satellite if there was no issue? Why wouldn't you just go take the picture? I wonder. Helicopters were used to drop water because there was no issue. On the pool area because there was no issue. Pool area. You're like, I don't know, what do I write here? Just write in pool area. The pilot said he saw no indication of boiling because there was nothing there. That was the reactor cores burning down through the earth, coming up. As it turned out, the pools didn't get hot enough to produce a steam like haze. You know why? I can show you why. Get a load of this. Because the pools, wait for that, are 100 feet up in the air. And they're not there. So they couldn't boil off because they weren't fucking there. Huh? Yeah? Why didn't you put a picture in with your friggin' article, bitches? At the Hiroshima syndrome? A bunch of freaks. Clip that out and come out. See, told you he was crazy. Look at him. Watch that shit. Don't watch his whole video, but watch that shit. You'll see he batshit crazy. I'm tortured. That monsters like you out there running around pretending you're a human. Finally, there have been no deaths or incidents of medical harm to members of the public due to radiation exposure. By the way, my name's Dr. Death. I kill puppies and doggies. My name is Leslie Carisse. I'm half freak, half anti-human. I hate humans. Got a bachelor degree in nuclear technology. And then, of course, because it takes evil to perpetrate evil, environmental sciences. I also have a master's degree in philosophy. And I'm a member of the Nuclear Society. These are overachiever lawyers. They come at it from every angle. What scares me is she worked for 21 years at a nuclear power plant, or it, an environmentally monitoring technician in order. So understanding what they were doing, they were the best people to cover it up. It's the most despicable, unimaginable way to get a job and make a living. But you have to be anti-human to excel like that, innit? You have to hate everything about everybody and be able to hide that from your friends and your families. Or not. This one doesn't sound like it hides much. Sounds like it's a thug. Like it punishes everything that it comes into contact with. Just by proxy, you feel dirty when you come into contact with people like that. Their friends, their families don't turn their back on this person. They're not someone you want to hug. You're such a good soul. No, that's not words you associate with people like this, with their friends or their families. But you're like a dog. You're going to have to put it down one day. Type personality. And you're like, okay, I don't want to be around that one. That one's going to detonate at some point. Well, it found his fucking release, come out and assassinate real science with nonsense. Like we know 5,000 plant workers had serious doses. They went to the hospital at the one time almost within the first 2 weeks. That's a dead man walking. That's dead man walking. You're dead. Not today, maybe. Not tomorrow, maybe. There was lots of 7 people died on one fucking street in Fukushima Prefecture. You soulless, spineless fucking monster. You heartless animal. You fucking freak. You fucking animal. How dare you? How dare you have that fucking site up there doing this to people on this fucking planet? Fuck you. You anti-human prick. You anti-human prick. Fucking make a video and come back out and get in my fucking radar. Come on. Bring it. Bring it to me. Bring it to me, you fucking bitch. You bring it to me, I'll bring it right back. I'll fucking sort you out, you fuck. You fucking piece of shit. You bring your fucking science to me any day. Bring it tomorrow, bring it after Christmas, bring it in the new year. Make sure I know you said something. And I'll fucking sort you out. Stop hiding away. Motherfucking piece of shit. You got that site up there to fuck people over. You're an organization. Here's your cronies.
When Fukushima melted down.
Did not melt down. Lie.
Were exposed.
What? There's no agenda. Adam and John saying no meltdowns. This is 2014. Citing the Hiroshima syndrome.
To high levels of radiation.
Well, 2 of the sailors came to a big gathering in New York City to mark the anniversary, and they were suffering health effects from their service on board the Reagan.
Which could have been food poisoning from what it sounds like.
Right? Arrogant fucking bag of shit, man. 2014. 2014. You know fucking well they were there saving lives. Something you have no concept of, and something you try tirelessly to fucking stop people from doing.
Was anchored just a mile or 2 off of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power
15.
He goes 15 miles.
Plant during the worst of the radioactivity releases.
They weren't just sitting there having a game of fucking cards. They were out rescuing people all around there in front of that whole fucking area. They were going in to get their assets at the nuclear power plant that had their... This is what they were doing. And you think about these unpatriotic, anti-human fucks, what they're saying there.
Even Snopes has said this is false.
Fucking Jesus.
They stayed in this contamination plume.
There were no contamination plume. Listen.
Well, that's what happens. But of course, he said just before that there was no radiation.
Oh, just listen to this.
For days on end.
No
so
meltdown.
They were getting the radioactive gases, which they were...
Radioactive gases?
Breathing in.
Yeah, gases, moron. Idiot.
They were getting the fallout onto them. So
That's right. Dipstick. How hard is it to understand that? Have you had a forest fire ever fuck up your barbecue? Dipstick.
Fallout, John. There was fallout from some explosion in the atmosphere. There was fallout.
Hear the sarcasm? Hear the do you hear the arrogance, the hubris that he's trying to put into his audience? Prick.
And see, the thing is, people have so little understanding of this material that even smart people who listen to our show buy into this. There's no evidence, and you don't know what you're talking about. I'm not an expert, but I have gone to experts who have no skin in the game other than their expertise. Atomic Rod Adams is one. He points me to these other...
Oh, for fuck's sakes! Atomic Rod Adams. Anybody know who that is? Huh? Atomic Insight? This is a man who works at a nuclear power plant, worked on a nuclear sub, currently working at a nuclear power plant with a pro-nuclear blog. What? Never seen that coming. Why, you're going to work at a nuclear power plant with an anti-nuclear blog? Can I get a fucking job there? You think I can go get a job? Like, no. Dana, no. Come on. Get the fuck out of here, Dana. What are you kidding me, man? Hey, Dana was, you see my Twitter? Dana, come in looking for a job. It was fucking hilarious. He was serious. He had a resume. They would crack up if I showed up. Can you imagine me going to apply for a job with the nuclear industry? Hey, yeah. Come on, look, I'm anti-nuclear. I need a job. Pick up that shit in the corner. Let's see how you work. Fuck you. Okay, we reached that point, did we? That time it again. That time again. My God, where did that 50 minutes go? Used to always do an hour. It's Christmas. Get out and get some old F-bombs back into circulation so people. Gotta keep my old F-bomb motors in good shape. Gotta keep the grease going. Fuckers! Dude, it's not appropriate, dude. It's a family show. It's an extinction event. You gotta get over it because it's real. It's happening. Ain't gonna go away, just like me. Ain't going away, bitch. Not going anywhere. You fucks over to the Hiroshima. Rod Adams, no agenda. You friggin' animals. You destructive, demented, twisted, spineless, heartless, mindless drones that are vicious dogs and are educated and know what they're doing and have no qualms about it and hate you, hate me, hates everything. Like they get a paycheck out of it. They gotta get a paycheck. Better be good. You want me to pick on Dana? He gonna blow back, bitch. I need a good paycheck to put up with the shit because he's coming for you. You know I'll come for you if I find you. If I know you're there and I hear it, you're being disingenuous. You're being a lying sack of shit. Being a poke machine. I got no problems with it. I'll stomp you. You got no fucking worries, bitch. Stomp you. I'll come for you. I'll do what it takes. We're talking about Fukushima's an extinction event for the Pacific Ocean already, and for the animal kingdom, the insect kingdom, for the entire fucking planet ultimately. We gotta stop the reactors. At what point are you gonna jump in? Now's the time. Merry Christmas. Hugs for everybody. See you then.